Alright, so we've looked at two games from Mr. TitaN in daily 637 here. And in game one, it almost went well, but then it sort of floundered. In that second game, it went real good. Game one I began with because it's a little bit more explicit what weird thing is going on. Wow, double forge, Nexus gateway opening. Huh, you don't see that a lot. But in game two it was much more subtle. The excessive chrono boosting on the +1 upgrade and the zealots to really catch the Zerg by surprise, and that's just enough to have caused Nerchio to be stuck in Lingroach land. We didn't see any other attempts to go down Spire Tech, Infestor Tech. I shouldn't say it. We didn't see any attempts to. We just saw that Nerchio was never even able to get it off the ground because this big push swept in, killed him off. Most importantly of all, TitaN still had the option to expand. Still had the option to expand. Very easy to look at that and be like, oh, he just attacked and then he attacked. But he killed off the rocks, he moved down the ramp. The Warp Prism was scouting everywhere. Obviously, there's judgment calls to be made there that I didn't go into. But I just want everyone to be aware, because I'm not going to cover that in today's daily, what the judgment calls are. But I want you to be aware that you can expand. So let's go ahead and take a look at this game, where we see this, something that's perhaps a little bit less shocking of an aggressive opening from TitaN. A little bit less surprising, but oh my god. Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh, yawn snuck up on me. Better eat some more of this gigantic sugar-filled cookie that Tristan gave me. Mmm, cookies. Mmm. Oh yeah. Oh. Mmm. 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 Oh my god. It's a little crunchy, it's gooey as well. Mmm. It's a 13 gateway. Mmm. Mmm. What do you know? It's a pool. Mmm. One gas. Not bad. Okay. Mm. Wow, that's good. Alright. TitaN is going to be going for a gateway push. But in what way does one do a gateway push that's quite good? First, TitaN is already doing something a little different from many other standard gateway pushes. With normal pushes, what players will do is they will not build this zealot. They'll go straight for the Nexus. And then when the Cybernetics Core is done, they'll begin chrono boosting that like mad while throwing additional gateways down here. So what's normal? This is what we see in the GSL very often, where you'll see a player just get 3 gateways, chrono boosting the Cybernetics Core nonstop, because he's getting his Nexus, his second Nexus, so early that he's going to begin burning minerals on the probes. And he's burning more minerals getting the Mothership Core up. He's burning more minerals getting all the proper setup. So in that little period where all the minerals are being burned on probes and that sort of thing, that's where we see Protoss is only really able to support 3 gateways with the push. Weirdly enough, building a zealot right here and not building this Nexus can actually provide you with a little bit of extra minerals later, because you won't be burning minerals building probes. Now, another thing that actually is quite common is to wait till right about now and then cancel the zealot and rebuild it. So that way we don't wind up losing to a 6 pool. And there we go. So back to looking quite normal. Zealot gets built, cancel the deal at the 6 pool. Or excuse me, Zealot get built to deal at the 6 pool. We don't see it cancel to rebuild. That's sort of what I was talking about in the metagame. We wind up seeing a lot of 6 pool plays on this map. Nerchio, on the other hand, just going for really standard 3 hatchery shenaniganry. shenaniganry. Again, people are asking why the cancel. You cancel so you can get the Nexus just a little bit faster. We see the Cybernetics core permit the Mothership core. We see the second gas go down. This is looking very much so like your normal opening. Most of the time, we start to see Zealots get flooded here. Building a little bit of those. We see the Chrono Boosts beginning to get saved up. Still trying to keep as close to 16 probes as possible on these mineral patches. This seems pretty typical at this point in time. He's just getting the Zealots, etc., etc. I can't remember when the other moment occurs here. Ah, yeah, here we go. The most common little maneuver here at this point in time is second Zealot, no third gateway, and lots of probes. I actually just want to take a look at like this instant when the Nexus finishes, just to note what's very typical of a Protoss money mixture right now. It's very difficult as Protoss to support these 4 gateways without something having to be cut. One of the easiest ways to do that is to not chrono boost things like crazy. Or I should say, not chrono boost production structures like crazy. This is the moment where most Protosses will be chrono boosting these Nexi a lot. But Titan's being a little more conservative with that. He's not actually getting second Zealot. He's just getting a Sentry. A little bit lighter on the cost. Also, another thing to note that we're seeing out of Titan, this is another way that he's saving money. Look at his resources, 34 of 44. It's very easy to way overbuild the wall off at the start. He's accepting a big hole at the front to build the pylon a little later when he actually has the cash to do so. So we look at the Chrono Boost. Titan actually has a pretty good amount of Chrono Boost left over. It feels super optimal to, you know, why didn't he throw down the other 2 Chrono Boosts? It's easy to have had Warp Gate done by a little after 6 minutes. But we can see that, I mean, what would he have even done if his Warp Gate had been finished then? He just didn't even have the resources to spend that. And we also see Titan being very responsible about when he moves out to do this push, also bringing another probe. So I think this is a pretty common opening. There's just some important things to note. Most often in GSL we see just 2 gateways here. Some 3-gate sneaky pressure, where, you know, a player will put a pylon here and do a warp in round of 3, warp in round of 3, warp in round of 3, and then go. Sometimes even going with just 6. But here Titan is doing straight in-your-face aggression. There's no surprise here at all. And look what we see. Most often Zerg will have just started 2 gas geysers, and here's Nerchio throwing down his Zergling mixture to be able to hold it off. So there's Titan's Warp Gates finishing up. And I actually want to look at the Chrono Boost because we see Titan not only not building out of his Nexuses, but also chrono boosting like very, very little. Only I think here, yeah, when his Mothership core dies. Oh wow, not even chrono boosting there. Just microing like crazy. Here's the traditional moment where every single Protoss player in the universe just stops. That's such an exaggeration. I don't know why I spoke in such hyperbole. This is where a lot of players just stop. But Titan hasn't seen any roaches yet, so is not going to force the issue. In the midst of all this, throws down Stargate, but not at the cost of this pressure. Still has a lot of Zealots out, 6. And if we click on the gate, on the warp gates, we see that mostly in max production, has 2 available, but continues to warp them in aggressively, like super, super aggressively. No gas geysers at all. Probes built really sparingly. And we kind of see a similar outcome to what we saw in the other game. Starting to narrowly get ahead to edge out Nerchio in that drone production. Pretty cool. And then this is one of the simplest all-ins to follow up. I mean, first of all, it's... Once this attack is completed... Oh, dude, I love this. In general, these attacks that TitaN does allows for this mothership core to do some really sick finishing blows and to just chill out at the third, which is pretty neat. I really like those a lot. So, sure, you can say 4-gate into Void Ray play. But what I love so much about what we're seeing TitaN do is this alignment of all the pieces of his opening together. Saved up on the chrono boost, not going excessive, not going nutso with it, to be able to, you know, now begin chrono boosting out probes. The fact that he didn't just throw down a couple zealots and go, ah, I'm done. He flooded zealots. He really went crazy for the zealots at the start of the game to be able to break open this, base. And we're seeing that just gorgeous coordination. He even lost mothership core on accident in both spots. And then we just have like a really simple all-in follow-up. Just 2 Void Rays. And remember those 2 geysers we got early that we haven't been doing much with? Well, now we can make only sentries with that. And here's the awkward position that Zerg winds up in. Alright, we're at the almost at 10:30. Geysers have not really been seized by Nerchio. If you would look at this gas amount, he's only just begun mining. Okay, so with us having revealed Void Rays, means that Nerchio has to get anti-air. Has to be all Queen, or it has to be Hydralisks. Hydralisks are very expensive and kind of hard to support, which is 50-some drones. So we see Hydralisks go down, Spire from Nerchio to try to get that follow-up play. This is what makes this attack from TitaN particularly strong. The Void Ray pops out and it just kills off a lot of the Overlords. And then TitaN just goes for another push again. Oh, excuse me, he actually went for 3 Void Rays. And then just goes for 7-gate behind it. It's really nice, neat, pretty straightforward, easy little piece of damage to do. We can easily pick off the roaches with the Void Rays. If he builds a whole bunch of Hydralisks to try to deal with the Void Rays, it means that all the rest of his composition is going to be Zerglings, because there's really just no way he can have a ton of gas-heavy stuff at this point. We just have like a nice, neat, little easy force. Soften Nerchio up. There's the Queens and the Hydralisks to help deal with these Void Rays. It's not going to even be that necessary. Unabashed 2-base analysis, man. I'm not afraid anymore. Like, why not, man? Why not go for the 2-base plays? Get him. Nerchio almost holds it off because he's the man. The TitaN's the double man. Oh, that's it. I'm kind of hungry for pizza, so I think I might begin ordering some pizza in a short few. But before that short few begins, let's take a couple questions from the chat. Yeah, so to recap today's daily, we looked at 3 games, and they all kind of had the same theme from TitaN. Do an attack that does a little bit of damage. We also saw that these, particularly the first 2 attacks, are pretty unusual in the way they were executed. Third one, pretty standard. And then TitaN really commits to these attacks, and by committing super hard, is able to open up these windows for the follow-up. One of my favorite things ever is that in the second game, there's still that opportunity to expand. Little Big 11 says, Day 9, I have a cryptography test tomorrow. Any advice? You should totally cheat with public key cryptography. You should text. Wow. And when I text you, I'll send you photos of Marine King and Maka, because those are two really large primes. Cheeseburger says, Danon, how's your diet going? Let's take another question. Linen Water asks why Titan built 3 Void Rays in that all-in push. I mean, it's kind of just like when the gateway's finished. 7 gateways on 2 bases, you got to be devoting all your resources to that, so you just kind of get the Void Rays as a little bit of extra damage dealing, and it forces composition to touch, and then you just pull right back up and up on in. Coltophilos asks what my favorite breed of dog is. It is the Corgi. Anton Bischoff Frederick says, Danon, what is the best response from Zerg to a heavy upgrades from Protoss? I'm going to straight up assume that you're referring to a 2-gating, or excuse me, a 2-forging Protoss player who's on 2 base. Because most Protosses, like if they're at 3 base and they're getting 2 forge, the real big issue is that you're against a 3 base Protoss. But let's assume 2 base, early expand straight into 2 forge. What then? Well, he's not going to be having a lot of the huge mega damage dealing units. I'm a big fan of as Zerg sitting back, turtling, going for Zerglings. Excuse me. Actually, what do I like? I mean, I'm trying to think of a better, more sophisticated answer than what I want to say. What I want to just say is Banelings, man. Just get Banelings. The best answers to Banelings are lots of force fields, but force fields are not as effective against speed Banelings as the StarCraft 2 beta would imply. A person going for double forge is inherently going to have quite a lot of zealots. You just don't really have the cash to go to get a lot of Stalker Sentry. You can get a lot of Zealot Sentry and some Stalkers later. You can get a lot of Zealot Stalkers with a couple of Sentries. But Banelings are great. If you wanted a hard counter, it would be like Banelings with Burrow are the hardest of hard counters, but that sort of implies that you're already doing a certain kind of style. Well, maybe no, it doesn't. I mean, that's sort of like the easy answer. What do I have trouble with when I do it? Probably Mutalisks are the easiest thing to just sort of transition into. Obviously, you need to hold off the first initial pushes, but Mutalisks are just a solid choice. Because he's going to be building largely gateway units. Because he's not going to be having all that gas to get the Phoenixes out. If he gets the Phoenixes out, you get Corruptors. Okay, Morelli says, Day 9, Marine King Prime, Innovation, Grubby. Kill 1, marry 1, and have sex with 1. Who would you do? I would kill Innovation. That's really easy. He's dead. Already dead. I would have sex with Grubby. I would marry Marine King Prime because I know that I would be adorable and laughing for the rest of my life. Front page Reddit. D9 will have sex with Grubby. He hasn't had sex with Grubby yet? Broken promises in esports. Oh, man. Oh, wow. So good. I was watching Day 9's show yesterday. He assured the public that fellatio would proceed subsequently, and yet we have seen nothing. Does this say something about his integrity? Let's not make any accusations here, but it's a mighty bold play to back off now. Oh, that's so good. People are laughing there. Yeah, well, that's excellent. But seriously, I would nail Grubby in a heartbeat. I had like no problem with that. Yeah, but let's be real here. Like totally. Oh my God! Look, there's a Reddit thread. Wow. Don't tell Cassandra. What happened to the Sex and the City scene with Husky? My understanding is a scheduling issue. I've talked to Husky about it several times in the last few weeks, trying to actually get it together. There were 2 dates that were originally scheduled, but then all of a sudden everyone's lives were terrible. I'm sorry it's so late. I feel bad. You know, the funniest thing is that when that comes out, it's actually probably pretty bad. Everyone's going to be like, oh, okay. But, you know, it'll happen. I'm just really sorry. I'm really embarrassed and shit. What is my favorite anime or comic of all time? Lately, this is my favorite comic, Amulet. Ooh. My favorite comic? Probably Walking Dead is really good. I like Ultimate Spider-Man a lot. I know I'm forgetting one of my real favorites. Anyone know my favorite comic? What's my favorite comic? Really liked Y the Last Man. Bone was amazing. Sandman's amazing. Actually, let's check the comic shelf. So there's Sandman, there's Green Lantern, there's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, there's Bone, I think that's Animal Man, and Marvel's Y the Last Man, there's Ultimate Spider-Man, the whole thing. There's the Death of Spider-Man series. Akira, DMZ's great. There's the Unwritten and Fables, Alias the Cat, and Watchmen on the other shelf. Invincible. Yeah, probably The Walking Dead. Have a good day, guys. I'm done. See you tomorrow. Show's over.